Hello humans, this is Random Visage and welcome to the Random channel. Today going to be continue playing finally Rogue's Choice medieval fantasy. It's been like I don't know 5 months or something since we last uploaded one of these, and this is part 5 I think, and we're gonna continue on from here. And the last time, from what I can remember, we took the job to go clean the sewers, kill the rats or whatever, and so we were going to be staying in the inn for the night, and she was like, yeah, you cannot stay in my room. I was trying to save some money, but she was like, you cannot stay in my room because this and that, and like it's not like it's gonna ruin my reputation or whatever. And so she didn't allow me to come into her room, so I'm trying to get to her room another way is by going through and calling out to her. I was thinking like jumping the bars, but I thought if a bar broke and I fell down, that's not good. So I'm going to try to get her attention from here. You wave your arms. Kriya now has a book in her lap. You wave arms more frantically, but she does not look up from her book. Kriya, you whisper loudly. She frowns as she continues to study. Oh, she saw me, but she's really not up for it. Kriya, you call, trying your best to sound like a crow. That's my crow impression, I guess. Finally, she looks up, squinting out the window. She must spot you waving your arms before her eyes widen, and she jumps to her feet. She looks like she is going to bolt. It's me, Rooster, you call. Just then, the doors of the inn open. Two men stagger out. They're singing some gabbled version of the drinking song, Tasha's Bottomless Barrel. Kriya approaching the window, cautiously keeping her eyes locked on you. Rooster, you fool, she hisses. The singing men are several meters down the street. You have no fear of them hearing you. Open the bars, you say. No. She says, what are you going to do? Dive through my window? Yes. Holy shit. That is dangerous. She shakes her head. You scowl. A Neville-stung woman. You made the jump. What? Hold on. Yes, you say. Did she open the window? What is this? You scowl. Neville-stung woman. You make the jump. Air rushes past your ears for a second. Then you hit your Your hands catch the bars easily. You do a good job taking up most of the shock. Nevertheless, it makes a solid thump. Her mouth is open now in rage. She pauses for a second as you hang by the bar. She then hurries over to the bed, then grabs a key and returns, unlocking the bar, swinging you out with a rusty squeak. Swinging you out because I was climbing on the window. That's funny. You climb around and pull yourself into the window. Are you mad? Hisses Kriya, after you have shut the bars and closed the windows. That would have been easier if you had just opened the bars to begin with, you say. That was more than stupid. Why? She said. I did not want to pay for a room and I have entered without detection, you say. Your reputation is intact. Man, my character is insane. You're lucky you were not caught, she says. You would have been taken as a thief and beheaded. Wait, thieves are beheaded in this country? That's a bit extreme, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you just put them in like prison? Thieves are beheaded. But then again, I think in like Saudi Arabia or something like that, they like chop off your hands or whatever if you are caught stealing. So I guess beheading could be a thing, but you know, I have never heard of someone getting beheaded over thievery, like not a small theft like a room or something. Or perhaps you could have just fallen and broken your neck. You shrug. Aerobatics and heights are nothing to me, you say, and a little danger, even unnecessary danger, keeps the wits sharp and God's amused. Interesting. God's amused. She mutters as she sits on the bed and shakes her head. I thought you might be a god, you suggest hopefully while adopting your most roguish grin. No, she says with a scoff. No, there have been tales of a woman in the night. The city rooftops are a chosen path. You thought I was a woman? You ask, a little hurt now creeping into your voice. You stroke the stubble on your face. I would not make a comely woman. I wager. She chuckles. You can see anything in a moment like that. What? Oh, because he jumped right. I fail to see what is to be feared of a woman on a roof anyways, you say. If a woman wanted to visit me by the rooftop, it would be a pleasant surprise. They say she's a monster, says Kriya. Never mind, there are more tall tales in the city than rats. You laugh. The look on your face. You have had your fun, says Kriya. Do that again, I will smite you with something fearsome. She points at her spellbook. Okay. The sound of music and laughter seeps through the floorboards below. A pair of large beetles scurry up the wall. Peering over the spellbook, you see a triangle diagram in the middle of a page, and strange symbols scrawled over every page, every spare inch of the parchment. I wonder that there is any power locked up in all that nonsense, you say. The power is not in the book, the power is here, says Kriya, motioning at herself. The book merely aids me in tapping into the multiverse and drawing magic as I need it. Like drawing from barrels in an endless tavern, I suppose, you say. Of libations? Speaking of libations, man, this every time I read this, there's like 10 words in every fucking chapter that I have no fucking clue what they are. This is the second chapter, by the way. Like, speaking of libations, I could use something to drink, you say, pointing at a small pot of water on the table next to the bed. You crinkle your nose. Ugh, that smells awful. A tea to stimulate the mind, she says. I was about to start a fire to heat it. Gods, you haven't even heated it yet? Soon you will stink up the entire inn. Why not just have some wine before bed like everyone else, you say. Studying spellcraft is not for the inebriated. That word I know, that's drunk, she says. Water will poison you, you say. That is why I'm going to boil it, she says patiently. Now if Neville's tongue, not that again, you say, pointing at a dead rat on the floor near the hearth. Is that the same you have been carrying around? Yes, that is Maurice, she says with a sigh. You know, I did not even invite you here, let alone give you authority to inspect on things and make commentary on. You're not going to cook Maurice, are you? You say, cutting her off. He's stiff and certainly foul by now. Kriya grits her teeth. If you would stop interrupting me, I will tell you. I missed this shit. This is too funny. I'm performing a ritual, a spell, if you will, before you ask. No, it is not an evil spell. That's a word that I do not use, by the way. Evil. I don't think I've ever really used this word outside of reading it and talking about it. I don't myself use this word. I don't think I've ever used this word. Evil is not a word that I use in my own conversations. Anyway, it might slip out, I guess. I don't actually remember ever using it. Maybe once I think it slipped out when I was making some kind of report or something. But whatever. Let's see. Apologies, you say. It is just that I have never spent any time around a witter? What? I've never spent any time around a witter wizard before. I have no idea what a witter is. I'm guessing it's talking about like intelligent, I think. Well, I don't know. Well, you must trust me if you're going to work together. I believe we can start by you trusting that I'm not doing anything that is of your business, she says. I'm an inquisitive man. What would you expect from an adventurer? Are you asking me to suppress my nature, you say? No, she says wearily. It's just that it has been a long day. I really need to study. You think you have had a long day, you say. Man, again another word. Incredulously? What the fuck does that mean? You think you have had a long day, you say incredulously. Since we met only hours ago, I've groveled before a one-eyed halfling, been insulted and threatened by an old man, been assaulted by a gang of half-wits, thugs in whatever. Please stop, says Kriya, interrupting you. Was the entire multiverse created only for you? Are there no other beings in this world with our own parts to play? What? Are there no other beings in this world with our own parts to play? I'm guessing they're trying to say that, everyone has their own part to play in the world, but it just sounds weird. You take a deep breath and put your hand up and surrender. Apologies, what might I do for you? She crosses her arms. I need quiet as I study. It is in preparation for tomorrow. You consider the sounds of laughter music below and a rhythmic thumping coming from the wall behind the hearth. Decide not to mention any of this since you're sure she means relative quiet. Perhaps I could pick fleas from the bed, you suggest. She forces a smile if you do so quietly. You walk over to the bed, sit on it, testing it, not the worst you have felt. I've stayed at many inns. The only way to rid a bed of fleas is to douse it in oil and light it a fire, you say. Kriya ignores you as she... Why do I keep talking, dude? Kriya ignores you as she picks up her book and settles down on the floor next to a dead rat. It's a real problem, you continue in a conversational tone. With a slay fleas spell, you could make a fortune from the inn. Oh, he's joking about a fucking spell. That's not... I thought it was an actual spell, but it's not an actual spell. He's just saying that. With a slay fleas spell, you could make a fortune from the inns in the kingdom. She looks up from her book, glaring at you. You smile. By the time you finish the last of the inns, By the time you finish the last of the inns, the first on your route will need your services. Like, I feel like she's about to curse me or like put a spell on me so I cannot speak. You're not being quiet, she says. My point is that you didn't risk your life in a sewer to make your fortune, you mutter. Why don't you go to sleep, she says. On the floor, she adds. Not tired yet, you say. I'm like an owl. She shakes her head, returns her attention to the book in her lap. You sigh as you begin analyzing the cracks in the wall. Soon you make out the shape of a seagull, complete with the wings, tail feathers. It's rather uncanny likeness. You consider pointing this out to Kriya, but decide it would be unwise to disturb her yet again. Oh, so basically we just looked at a wall and it looked like a seagull and we was like, it's like the fucking clouds thing. It's like, oh, look at that cloud, looks like this. Or whatever. Is the seagull a sign from the gods? No, it is not. Highly doubted. But, gods do exist in this world, so it could be possible. You wonder, but what? There were many seagulls back home. Is it a sign to go back? Perhaps a remainder of your sister who remains in Windborn, or a sign that an opportunity is near. You wonder. One thing you know about seagulls is that they're always looking for an opportunity for a meal. Granted, this interpretation is a stretch, but it does remind you that you're now on the same floor as the captain's suit. Oh shit. He was paid today and is now carousing downstairs. No one knows I'm here, you thinks. Wait, he was paid today and is now carousing downstairs. No one knows I'm here, you think. That cinches it. The gods have spoken through this seagull. You shall seize this opportunity. Time to make some coin with some old-fashioned burglary. Oh shit, this is going to be intense. Kriya does not look up from a book as you softly open the door. The hallway is lit by regularly spaced lanterns with... I'm guessing I could back out of this, but I could also get money from this. So I'm going to actually do it because you can actually lose out on a lot of good stuff if you don't do this stuff. And anyway, I have 0 gold, so I might as well. I could use some gold and some morale as well. Kriya does not look up from a book as you softly open the door. The hallway is lit by regularly spaced lanterns with doors lining the walls. Across from each other, silently you move across the hall, peeking around the corner of the stairway. The guard is standing at the top of the stairs, tapping his foot to the music. You leave the stairway, creep along. It doesn't take that long to identify the door of the captain rented room. It's the last door on the left. There are etchings of stags and huntsmen in this door, while the others are plain. In addition, the room must be large since there is a considerable space between it and its nearest neighbor. The lock is of moderate difficulty, within your skill, but might take a minute or two. There are few things you could do. You could waste no time and start picking the lock before someone shows. Another option would be to start by listening at the door, despite the fact that you saw the captain less than an hour ago. Finally, you could extinguish the lamp on this end to give yourself some darkness and cover. Luckily, picking locks is picking locks is about feel, not so much sight. Okay, what do you do? I don't think listening to the door would do too much. I'm gonna extinguish the light. Lamps go out all the time. They run out of oil, otherwise malfunction. Extinguishing this lamp shouldn't raise any suspicion. It's convenient that the door you're about to pick is at the end of the hall. Taking out this lamp will provide plenty of shadow. You lick your finger, reach up, quench the flame as you have practiced many times. It almost burns you, but not quite. Feeling better now that you enjoy a little cover of shadow, you put your ear up to the door. Nothing from within, but there is thumping from somewhere else. You straighten up in time to see a heavily built man with a rotund belly emerge into the hallway with a woman on his arm. You don't recognize this man, but the woman is the young prostitute you spotted earlier. She has fixated her hair since you last saw her. It's now in a tight bun, exposing a lovely neck. They haven't noticed you yet. You consider staggering out into the open as though leaving one of the rooms, but decide it would be better not to be seen at all. You freeze in place. When the pair turn to each other, you step silently back further into the darkness. They freeze again. They stop about halfway down the hall and the man fumbles for a key. There is some laughing and then they disappear into the room. The door slams. You let out a breath and go back to the door. You listen again, not hearing anything. You pull out your picks and get to work. The lock turns out to be more difficult than you expected, and not being able to see well does not help matters. Wait, what? And not being able to see well does not help matters. But then, hold on. lockpicking doesn't really require you to see. I mean, if you ever watched Lockpicking Lawyer, I really watch loads of his videos. He doesn't really see the lock much. He mostly feels the inside of the lock. So I don't know if seeing the outside of the lock helps a lot. I mean, I'm guessing we took a look to guess what type of lock it is. But other than that, it's mostly just feeling around the lock, either inside the mechanism. So I don't really know what are you going to do with just looking, but I guess it helps a little bit to be able to look. But okay, let out a breath and go back to the door. You listen again, not hearing anything. You pull out your picks and get to work. The lock turns out to be I already read this. Again, you have to pin yourself to the wall as another soldier, this time with two women, lumbers into one of the rooms. How much does the Duke pay these men, you wonder? On your third session of working the lock, it finally clicks. You open the door a crack. The light is dim inside with only a low fire burning on the hearth. Not seeing anyone, you quickly step inside and quietly shut the door. The room is at least double the size of Kriya's room, and the furniture is of higher quality. The bed is large enough for two people to comfortably sleep. The bed is made. At the foot of the bed is a pile of chainmail glinting dull red in the firelight. The chainmail is valuable, but would certainly be dangerous to spell. Yeah, fencing that shit would be difficult. You put it out of your mind. You find what you're looking for on a long table near the window. Coins, silver and copper mostly, but there are a few gold too. But if he has had prostitutes up here, he certainly is not worried about them stealing it from him. Of course, no one in their right mind would steal from the captain of guards. So shots fired at yourself. You scoop up all the coins. There is at least 8 gold worth pieces here. Gods, I hope none of the girls gets the blame, you think. There is a few crumpled pieces of parchment on the table, as though he had emptied out his pocket. You pick up one of them and read it. Corner of King and Mary is scrawled on it. An address. The writing gives you an idea. You could leave a note, perhaps scrawl something on the table with some charcoal from the fireplace. That might save the prostitute from suspicion. Wait, what? The writing gives you an idea. You could leave a note, perhaps scald something on the table with some charcoal from the fireplace. That might save the prostitute from suspicion, since the profession is not known for the literacy, but that's leaving evidence behind. You can clearly hear your dead father voice in your mind, reminding you how you were dropped on your head by your mother, a claim your mother always denied. Another option is to leave some of the coins, perhaps a third of them. If the captain is drunk enough, he may not realize he is robbed at all. Finally, you can just take it all and let come what will. I'm definitely not leaving a note. I'm not fucking stupid enough for that. I could take it all, which I was going to, but leave some coins here is a good option. But he comes in here, he's not going to be instantly shouting how he is missing some coins. So I could leave some lower level coins and just, it should be good enough. Let's see. You know what, we're gonna do it next time. This is a little bit short, and it's been a while anyway. It's been 17 minutes, that's fine anyway. I think I'm gonna stop making 30 minutes episodes. Someone was actually saying that in the comments as well. So I'm going to reduce the episode size to around 15 minutes. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Well, probably not less than 15 minutes, but at least 15 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes I'm going to be making these episodes. So next time we're going to see what we will do. I'll probably either take all coins or leave some coins. I'm definitely not leaving a note. I'm not that fucking dumb. So thank you so much for watching. The link in the description to the game. There's also a link to my Twitter. There's also a link to my Patreon. You check my hentai let's plays out there. Bye bye.